Hello, welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, and our guest today is Rick Wemmers. Rick is founder of Wemmers Consulting Group and author of Silver Bullets for Quick Revenue Growth. Rick is a business development expert helping companies quickly achieve significant sales growth. Rick has 25 years of experience coaching clients in over 50 different industries, from startups to Fortune 100 companies. His unique variety of experience enables him to give a broad perspective on how every client can grow revenues quickly by as much as 50% in just 1 year. Rick.
Doesn't that sound good?
It does. And I want you to tell us how you do that, because you saved or actually increased one of your clients' sales revenues from $3 million to $17 million in just 1 year.
That's correct.
Now, I know we want to hear how you did that.
It's one of those rare opportunities when an outsider sees what an insider just can't see. And we had a software product that was fairly new, and he'd sold $3 million and was pretty happy, but thought there was a great untapped market. And by looking at it, we discovered that yes, he should not be talking to the programmer's trade audience, but should be talking to the consumer market, which he had no experience in and didn't know how to do it. So we started with him, and it's amazing how the consumers started in great volume to buy his product. In fact, that's how it jumped so fast that we opened a whole new market for him.
So what do you find is the biggest problem when you go into companies?
After all of my clients, big and small, I've learned a simple thing which makes it hard for people to believe. It's just communications. Leadership and management feel like they have perfect clarity in what they're saying, and that employees, being English and human, understand. But we just don't. As human beings, we assume too much. So as I tell presidents, probably your problem is based in part on assumptions you're making, that your employees hear what you say, perfectly understand it, and do it. As one company we found had a 27% annual turnover rate. Wow. And this was a very good company, high salary, wonderful conditions in the satellite business. And so we went in and asked the employees, why are so many people leaving? And they gave us the reasons. We told management, and they said, that's not true. We told them this. And we said, let's just give it a chance and let them solve the problem. And they did, dropped it to 6% in a year.
So what can companies do to have better and more productive employees?
There are assessment tools, very simple surveys or questions. I hate to use tests because that sounds like grammar school and I'm going to flunk. And it isn't that way. It takes 10 minutes to basically share what you like, what you don't like, how people get your attention, don't get your attention. I've been amazed, and I've given thousands of these. I work with a person who is, I think, brilliant in understanding what those numbers and data say, far beyond my experience.
Now, I heard that you, talk about motivation, that you motivated 2,000 criminals to return some stolen property. I want to hear how you did that.
Yes, that was for a cable company, a major player in the cable industry. Their problem was people had figured out how they could change the wires in the back of the box when they had them then and get free movie service. And all of us consult an emotion before we do something. But in this case, we used fear, and we did it by technically telling the audience, this was a major city in the West, that we would send a signal through the system which would identify whose system wasn't working quite right. And all of a sudden, people rushed in because we said, there's an amnesty period. For the next 2 weeks, we will not raise any questions about why your box is not working and you're getting free stuff. And they lined up outside on a rainy day to exchange the box. So emotional can drive a lot of people, and that's how we did it.
Rick, tell us, what can small businesses do today to increase their sales and their profits?
And that we work so hard on our business that we don't look at it objectively. And it's hard for us to back away and spend time saying, what is it if the facts were known by others that I could do better, do differently? And this is where a coach, I find, I wish again I had a coach way back when. I built my first company to $5 million in 5 years, so I felt pretty good. But I look now, if I had only had someone say to me, rightfully so, you're not being as hard on that person as you should. You're not being as objective about what you're doing. You're not spending time managing your business. You're working in it all the time. So I find if our small business owners just ask for objective insight from somebody else, be it a coach or be it a group of other fellow business owners. There are a number of organizations, Vistage is one of those, that share ideas, but you need to prod yourself. You need somebody to push you beyond what you know you should do, but just afraid, well, it may not work, and money could go out the door. And I've been there. I understand that. So a good coach will urge you to change.
In your book, Silver Bullets for Quick Revenue Growth, what's the biggest value to businesses that you present in that book?
It's the process that I've learned. It's a 4-step process. It's very simple. But I find that if you will just read that page or section and apply it to your business, the first thing is learn what you need to know that you don't really know. What do your employees really think about you? What do your customers really think about you? What do your prospects that you didn't win really think about you? And again, it's part of this emotional thing I learned that we as humans, we're eager and great and comfortable giving compliments to people. Sometimes even if we don't believe them, we can still mask that. But what we don't have good comfort in is telling you the real truth. I don't like your product because I don't like what you stand for. I don't like you as a boss, but I'm going to hang on until I find a job somewhere else. And the second one, and I'm not going to give the whole process because you should buy the book, of course, but you need to be able to say, what is it that does the most good for my business? Now that's often revenue. We want more revenue, more profits. And I go, fine, what is it that drives those profits most? Then, and most people don't know that, there's an old rule. Look at the 20% of your customers who generate 80% of your profits. What are you doing to those to improve that? Better yet, how many of those prospects outside that you don't have as customers could you go get? And that's focusing your energies, resources, money, time on those things that generate the best return to you. Many businesses go out and if it's breathing and walking, I want as a customer. In truth, we have no profit, so why do that? So focusing on that. And then the third thing that I find is that we don't know that our message is getting to our customers or prospects. We assume running ads, sending mail. We just, in a direct mail, for example, I just say, let's call 25 people. Did you get it? Did you read it? Did you understand it? Did you act on it? If so, why? If you didn't, why? Very simple. And it saves hundreds of thousands of dollars in some of the major corporations. So those are just a part of it. So the process is what I think the book gives.
Tell me what's so unique about your coaching process.
I want my clients to believe and see clearly and as objectively as I can make it, did you make more money than you paid me? I have a guarantee now in one industry that I've worked in particularly long time, and I say that if you cannot see a positive return on what I charge you, I'll refund the money. And they look at me and go like, never heard of that. And I go, it's very simple, and there is no magic to it. It's just simply we track what we got in new business during the time I was here, 2 to 3 months, and if you can't see more profits than you would have made that same time, then I will refund money until you do. And I haven't had anybody, knock on wood yet, call me on that and have to give it up. And there again, it's no great magic. It's just focusing on bottom line return. I've learned that owners and CEOs of major corporations think a lot of coaching, training, consulting really isn't profitable. It's nice and we should do it, but we don't. And that's what I started saying. How do we measure that? And we have a process to measure it. So that's what I think I'm unique at.
Rick, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate your expertise.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed being here.
Well, good. We've been talking with Rick Wemmers of Wemmers Consulting Group. I'm Diane Bogino. Our objective is to bring you information you can bank on.